Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sinister Skater here, and welcome to another edition of Black Ops 3 Best to Worst. Today, we're going to be covering the best to worst perks, but before we get into that, I have a couple things I want to address. So originally, this series idea was that, I got diamond camo or dark matter on the weapons. I've mastered the weapons, so I'd share my opinions on the good weapons and the bad weapons, and it's kind of like a mix of between like a top 5 series and like an analyzation. It was something quick, fun, and yet still helpful, and this worked for the specials as well, and that was the main idea of the series. Now I don't want this to turn into like some crazy top 5 series, like the best to worst everything, so I will limit what I'm going to cover on it, but I will say I will be doing a couple more episodes for the best to worst series, and I'm going to call them more of like bonus episodes because they kind of stray away from the original idea, but they're still going to be mainly on things that will be somewhat helpful. So, like, today's episode is going to be on perks. I didn't want to do score streaks at first because, you got the lethal versus the support, and there's a lot of score streaks to rank, but I found a nice layout to do those, so those will probably be next, and then I'll maybe do maps. One thing I've seen is that people have asked me to do lethal and tactical grenades, but I will not be doing that because I've kind of covered that in the Black Ops 3 Armory Analysis series, another series I do on my channel. So if you want to check those out, just go on my channel. There's a playlist of it, and it's pretty much on the main page. So with that, if you have any other suggestions for something that you would like to see for the best to worst, leave them down below in the comments, as I'm constantly looking at those to see if there's any other ideas. So for this list, it's going to be a little more personal and more opinionated than the previous list. Previously, I've kind of, I've taken in, I've used all the guns, I've used my personal experience, kind of like where the gun fits in and ranked them on that. Perks, I haven't used them all thoroughly, so it's going to be more based on what I like to use and what I use frequently, with the consideration on what the perk does and like its use in most situations. And we're going to be going tier by tier, so there's going to be like kind of 3 best to worst lists in this video. And as always, you're encouraged to share your own opinions below in the comments, whether that be your own list, little modifications, or whatever you like. So let's start off with the tier 1 perks. That's that. So starting off with tier 1, the best perk in my opinion is Ghost. This keeps you off enemy UAV, enemy radar when you're running, sprinting, planting or defusing bombs, or controlling score streaks, which is good because UAVs are really easy to get in this game. It's one of the best score streaks in this game. Little hint for next episode of best to worst. But UAVs are up in the air a lot, and Ghost does keep you off the radar, let you surprise enemies, and I like it. Number 2 on my list would be Overclock. This allows you to get your specialist faster. If you want to know exactly how much faster, I will direct you to my Overclock and Specialist Timers video, where you learn everything about Overclock and the Specialist, but lets you earn your Specialist considerably faster. And I like getting my Specialist abilities a lot, especially if I'm using like Glitch, where I can just use it all the time, or Combat Focus. Even things like I think Hive and Purifier Scythe, I think, are all like 5 minutes to get, and this cuts it down to 340. So it's pretty awesome. I like using Specialist. It's at number 2 on my list. Number 3 for the tier 1 is Flash Jacket. This reduces your incoming explosive damage, which is pretty good. All around perk, you can use it whenever, especially when you're using objective or playing objectives, so it's good. At number 4, I actually have Afterburner. Now, I haven't used this because usually I'm using the first 3 perks that I mentioned, but I do like to use this if I'm trying to set up a rushing class. This allows you to get your thrusters to recharge faster. Although thrusters do recharge fast enough in this game, this does give you an extra edge. And like in most first-person shooters and shooters in general, it's all about movement. Movement really will set you apart from like the best players to mediocre players, or just average players. So having this extra movement benefit to you, it's kind of like Overclock. Having that extra movement is just really awesome, especially when trying to G-slide, do all these sliding across the map, trying to avoid your enemy, trying to jump into the air and do stuff like that. I love it. It's at number 4 for that. At number 5, I'm gonna put Sixth Sense above Blind Eye. Sixth Sense gives you an alert on your radar when enemies are in a specific range. Again, I have an armory analysis video on that, so I'll direct you to that if you want to learn more about this perk. But the range isn't too large. I'm not very fond of it. I don't use it too much, but I will use it if I'm gonna be rushing, especially like in Nuketown or small maps like that, or playing in tight corridors, or just rushing in general. It gives you a little alert when you're kind of being all chaotic with your gameplay, and lets you be a little more cautious, I guess you could say. And then finally we have Blind Eye. I don't really use this perk. It could be good when you're trying to shoot down score streaks. It allows you to not be targeted by enemy aircraft, and I don't know. I'd rather just take my chances, use FMJ and a launcher and shoot people, or switch to a default class with that. I'm never going to rock it on its own. So that's tier 1. Moving on to tier 2, the best perk in tier 2 in my opinion is Scavenger. This replenishes your ammo, so you always have ammo. It's necessary if you're going to go on long kill streaks, which I love to go on. And it also gives you equipment back from kills that aren't from explosive weapons, so it's really good to get ammo back. It's necessary for every class, and I find fast hands at number 2 is necessary for every class as well, as long as I'm playing aggressive with the class. Again, I did a video on fast hands. If you want to go check that out, fast hands versus quick draw, I'll just link the whole army analysis playlist in the description instead of doing all these separate videos. But I don't know, I like fast hands because I like to rush around, play a little bit more aggressive, and having that faster aim after sprinting, I like it, personally. So, that's number 2 on my list. At number 3, we actually have Tracker, which I've been thinking about doing a video on. Tracker lets you see some enemy footsteps, some digital footsteps, and this is a really nice perk. I don't want to get too in-depth because I might do a whole video on it, but it lets you see where the enemies are. It kind of gives you a, like, sometimes enemies can run down the hallway and you'll just miss them, but if you have Tracker on, you can see their footprint, and then you know, like, there's an enemy right there, and then you can kill them and not get killed in the back. It just allows for, it's kind of like the movement thing. It just gives you more senses in the game, I guess, and it is really, really good. Especially in hardcore. Hardcore, you don't have a UAV, and Tracker is a way to go. So I might make a video going more in depth on that, but Tracker's at number 3. At number, I will say 4 is Hardwired, which makes you immune to counter UAV, power core, EMP grenades, and smoke screen. Also won't let you trigger tripmine, shock charges, or C4 alarms, and it reduces your digital imprint against enemy tracker and 6th Sense perks. Personally, I don't run this too much. I may have ran it in the beginning of the game, but I found Scavenger and Fast Hands to be my go-to. Again, if I see like UAVs, counter UAVs in the air, I'm gonna shoot them down. Not too into Hardwired, and I'm not too into Cold-Blooded, which is the number 5 on the best to worst for the tier 2 perks. Cold-Blooded makes you not, it's like Blind Eye before ground streaks. It makes you immune to the ground-based AI score streaks, and also immune to thermal optics. Again, I'm going to shoot down those score streaks or take them out with a rocket launcher, so not too worried about that. And finally, the number 6 for tier 2, we have Ante Up, which is the worst perk in the game, in my opinion. You spawn with a starting bonus to your score streak meter, and that starting bonus, I believe, is 75 and maybe 25. I'm pretty sure it's 75 points to your score streak every single time, no matter if you're what set of score streaks you're using or anything. You get 75 bonus points, which is barely even a kill. In some objective game modes, maybe a kill and a half. Pretty useless, in my opinion. I don't know. This perk just, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's bad. Don't even use it. Let's move on to tier 3 perks, which I believe have the best perks, hands down, of like all the other tiers. Tier 3 perks are awesome. I would like to use them all if I could, but you can't. You can only use 2 at most. So at number 1, the best tier 3 perk, in my opinion, contender for best perk in the game, is Tactical Mask. This reduces the effects to flashbangs, concussions, and shock charges to nearly nothing, and is a GOAT. Like, I have this perk on pretty much every single class that I run because people throw concussions and flashes and everything could really mess you up. These keep you going in the game, throws people off guard, and really awesome perk. At number 2, I'm going to go with GungHo, which allows you to hip fire your weapon, deploy equipment, and throw grenades while sprinting. Again, this is a movement thing. Getting that extra movement over your enemy gives you an advantage, and being able to just, you know, fire your weapon while sprinting, just plow right through people, use the Vesper, plow right through people, it's nice. I like it. At number 3, I'm going to put Blast Suppressor, which keeps you off the minimap when using your thrust jump. Pair this with Afterburner and you're good to go. Number 4, I'm going to put Engineer. This allows you to see enemy equipment and score streaks and reroll and booby trap care packages. So if you're rolling care packages, it's an awesome thing. You can get a shot at a better score streak. Now, while this perk may sound like a, you know, taking out equipment type of perk, it's actually really useful because it allows you to see where enemies are on the map. It will highlight the like score streak and equipment pretty much wherever you are on the map for you, so you can always see it. And you know, you see a thing of like a red shock charge pop out, you know an enemy's right there, like an enemy's up in that building that you might have not known before. And it also allows you to, you know, if you're not taking out score streaks and not using Hardwired or Cold-Blooded or anything like that, it allows you to navigate the map and get around those things. So it's kind of like again, more senses to your game. Now, number 5 and number 6, Dead Silence and Awareness paired up. I'm going to go ahead and put Dead Silence over Awareness. I'll talk about why, but personally, people might like the, you know, they might be 1 and 2, especially if you're a search and destroy player. I'm not a search and destroy player, and like these are sound horn perks. I do have a headset, but I'm not using my headset all the time. If anything, if I'm using it, I have 1 ear on and 1 ear off to hear people or hear my roommate or things like that. So personally, in Black Ops 3, I'm not using these perks much often. Other people will have these in their top things, but what puts dead silence above awareness for me, your own footsteps are really, like, really loud in this game. Your footsteps are really loud, like sometimes louder than your opponent's. So when you use awareness, it raises your opponent's footsteps, but your footsteps still kind of interfere with it. So when you use dead silence, it kind of makes it easier to hear your opponent's footsteps better than if you just use awareness. If you use them both, then you're in the money. But that's that for the best to worst perks. Kind of an odd best to worst listing, but we covered every single perk. My personal opinion. Let me know your guys' personal opinions down below in the comments. Again, next best to worst, we're going to be doing score streak, so you can look forward to that. And yeah, share your list down below in the comments. Suggest anything for future best to worst videos. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Skater. Subscribe for future Black Ops 3 content if you aren't already. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike if you disliked it. Let me know why. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.